Hello and welcome back to Calradia Expanded at War, and I've stumbled across something kind of hilarious here. Well, actually I didn't stumble across it, I basically instigated this entire thing, not because I told the AI where to go or what to do or anything like that, but they just happened to be in the area, and our Vlandian army allies were chasing after the Sturgian army, and then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, I see that Lucon's army, a massive 2,600 strong army, is literally here as well, attempting to besiege Balgard. And I'm just thinking to myself, what is going on? What are the AI actually doing? Because if you take a look at the combat strength here, they have about a 10% combat strength in comparison to what the compared to our 4,300 combat strength. Well, technically these are just actual numbers, so the combat strength is much more than that, as you can quite clearly tell. That is insanity right there. Anyway, I'm just going to go for an auto-resolve. This is literally one of the biggest auto-resolves I've ever done. And surprisingly enough, well, or maybe unsurprisingly, depending on your perspective, the rewards are very, very minimal indeed. Anyway, there you go. Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. Usually I would go on into a manual battle in such a large fight. But the problem with that is that generally my PC can't really handle, at least with the current optimization of the game, can't really handle large numbers of units. Otherwise we're going to get a whole bunch of slowdown and it's going to be really sort of messy, janky kind of experience. So obviously I'd like to try and avoid that if at all possible. However, getting them out the way this early does make things very easy for us, and it makes things so much simpler for our inevitable attempting to take a variety of different pieces of territory. For example, Takor Castle is right over here, and you can see here that there's not that many units in there, only 256. So I'm thinking we're probably going to go over there and do that. Generally, if there is a well, should we say, if there's a fight where we can participate in a meaningful fashion, then I'm more than happy to participate in that. More than happy to do that. But unfortunately, as it stands, with that army that we just saw right there, it was just such an obvious inevitability that the Vlandians and the what are these guys again? The Northern Empire? Yeah, the Northern Empire were going to team up and win so dramatically that there was basically no point. There was basically no point in me going in there, So, anyway, I'm going to try and construct a couple of things here. We're going to get a battering ram and 2 siege towers, and then we'll see what happens. The Sturgians are basically done. I think they are done. I don't think there's any way that they can really come back from this. I mean, look at Raganvad himself. He's literally running around with 31 units, as you saw just there. He's just running around, literally doing nothing. He is kind of confused by the looks of things, and I don't blame him, to be honest. I think that generally, there's not much you can really say to a guy that is literally running around in, well, basically in tatters. He's running around in tatters at the moment and not really doing much. So, yeah. Anyway, no perks, unfortunately, right here, but hopefully we'll be able to get some soon. And my siege tower is almost built, and then we're going to be heading in. Now, Odok has been besieged. Von Novapol has been besieged by the Vlandians. That's actually kind of good. A little bit of a ransom brokering to be done there, and we are going to lead the assault. You know what? I'm actually worried. I'm wondering whether this would be a good idea. Should I actually try to set up a trebuchet or something like that? Let me try and set up a trebuchet and see what happens, because I'm really wanting more engineering skill. Is it just me that finds it difficult to get engineering skill? I don't know why, to be honest. That's the point. Not entirely sure why it takes so long for our companion to level up his engineering. Maybe I need to spec into engineering or something to make that happen, but if you take a look here, how is our trebuchet actually doing at the moment? It's doing okay. I mean, it's up against ballistas, but we're losing a bunch of units in the process, and there's a massive Sturgian army right by the side of us with 650 or so units. So I'm very glad that I clicked attack just at that moment, because now we are safe in the confines of the siege attack, and then we don't have to worry about them actually murdering me in every single way. So let me, wow, this is actually a very nice defensive effort from this this castle layout right here. So many little, not sure what to call these, slabs of rock, I guess. So yeah, slabs of rock and stone and things like that to prevent enemies from assaulting the walls as easily as they would otherwise be able to. So that's pretty cool. I quite like that. It's maybe not so good for me, because I'm on a horse. And generally they're going to be, well, it's going to be kind of difficult to navigate through them. Anyway, I really do need to get a crossbow, don't I? Yeah. Getting a crossbow would definitely make things so much easier. And, no. Oh, okay, never mind. There's an invisible wall. Okay, that's perfectly fine. I thought to myself, oh no, we're going to have a bit of a problem there, but no. There is an invisible wall, so I don't need to worry about that. I mean, look at Matunis right now. Look at his crossbow proficiency. His crossbow proficiency at the moment is 291, and he started with about 120 or something like that. And he has gotten so many kills in the brief time that he has had the opportunity to shoot at enemies that he is now at 291, which is insanity. I have no idea how he was able to do that so quickly. But, on the other hand, he doesn't level up his engineering skill, and that's what we need him for. We don't need him for the crossbow skill that he brings, even though that is actually kind of useful. I mean, a companion being so incredibly effective at crossbow usage is sure to be something very, very helpful in certain situations, but you know, I specifically got him into our party for the reason that he's actually good at engineering. You know, that was the whole point. So it's a bit weird, right? Yeah, a bit weird. Anyway, let me see if I can do some damage here. Try and get in to the central gate. And I'm going to try and get a little bit of athletic skill and hopefully not die. I mean, look, do you see what happens immediately? As soon as I go in here? As soon as I go in here, I literally take damage. And I'm almost dead, almost instantaneously. And I have no idea how that even happens. I mean, I got hit on the head once or twice, and then all of a sudden, boom, I am at 54 HP, and I am about to die if I get shot in the face once more. So that is obviously awful. So hopefully I'm not going to have that happen once again. You know what? I do need to get a better one-handed, to be honest. I need to get a better one-handed. I need to get a better short polearm if I want to use a short polearm, that is. I was actually really wanting to get a Bardiche, because Bardiche is basically one of my favorite weapon types in the entire franchise of Mount and Blade. I know. It may be kind of weird, you know, me hearing, or should we say, you hearing me say that, if you haven't heard me say that before, because I generally don't talk about my favorite, well, whatever, in the game that much. But yeah, generally, I should have taken that guy prisoner. Oh well, never mind. But yeah, Bardiches. Bardiches are fantastic. I love them. I think they are absolutely amazing weapons, and I would prefer to be using them much more often, but I just have a difficulty finding them to begin with. 11,000 experience. Is that actually worth it? Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. Is it worth it, though? Is it? Is it worth it? Okay, yeah, some of it, I suppose. Some of it is kind of worth it. I will claim the fief, because I am attempting to continue increasing the, shall we say, the influence that I have over the area. But yes, if I can find a Bardiche, then I will be forever happy. But I think it is actually classified as a two-handed weapon rather than a polearm. However, I do realize that in Warband, or I seem to recall, at least, in Warband, that the Bardiche had two separate categories. And one of the categories was two-handed, and the other was polearm without shield, as far as I'm aware. So that kind of gives me a bit of hope, shall we say? A bit of hope that maybe I would be able to, Maybe I will be able to find something about that. Maybe that would be nice. But anyway, I did level up my one-handed, and look at this. Matunus has leveled up. Fantastic. So now I can finally spec him into engineering, and we can spec him into intelligence as well. Oh, it's about time, isn't it? Anyway, now he has a perk point in one-handed too. I actually don't care what he goes for, to be honest. So we'll just go for anything, really. I have a perk point in one-handed as well. We finally reached 225 with it. Increased damage with one-handed weapons by 5%, or I gain 5 hit points. I think I'm probably going to go for the hit points. Yes, indeed, because the secondary effect of that is actually really good, because infantry troops in the party you're leading have their hit points increased by 10, which is always nice. So I like that. And what do we have here? The Sturgian army that was just about to attack us is now attempting to take Balgard. Now, I am happy with this, mainly because Balgard is, of course, under control of the Northern Empire right now, and their large army, their insanely large army with, what was it, 2,600 units or something, has disbanded, but now they are reforming. They are reforming, and they have a grand total of 882, actually over 1,000 now, because they're adding more vassals. They're adding more vassals almost instantaneously, and now they're going into the battle with the Sturgians, and they seem to be in a hot pursuit. A hot pursuit of these guys. Okay, so let's see what we can do here. Just going to level up a couple of my forces, and then I'm going to see if I can maybe... Can I get them in a battle? Yes, I can. There we go. All right. So, thankfully, because the way this works is if an enemy and an ally are nearby and you engage the enemy, then the ally is going to help you. And that's exactly what's going on here. So, let's see what we can do. I think we might... Shall we go for the... Let's go in, yeah? Let's go in for the manual battle. Seems pretty fun to me. So let's go in for the manual battle here, and we'll... oh, yeah. This might be a little bit problematic. If the AI is extremely passive and cautious, on our side, that is, then I don't really want to send in my own units randomly just to have them get killed, because I have 67 of my units on the field at the moment, by the looks of things. Or I have just been given a whole bunch of people to command myself, which is, in my opinion, unlikely, but who knows? Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. Who knows? But okay, let's have a look. I have my polearm. Let's go a little bit slashy right here. Oh ho! We took out Godun with 731 damage. Now that is not a couch lance. That is a pure regular slash. Usually a couch lance, you'd probably see upwards of 1,000 damage if you're lucky with the you know, where you hit on the opponent's body, you know, how much speed you have, how much speed they have, and so on. My horse did take a pretty heavy hit as a result of their counterattack, but I was thankfully able to escape from that relatively undamaged. And let's have a look at where the enemy is. Okay, they're actually going over here. What are my forces doing? Why are they in a circle formation right now? Why are you in a circle formation, you absolute imbeciles? There is no need to do that. They have basically no cavalry. Look at them. They have 2 cavalry. Actually 4. 4 total. Very strange. Don't know why the AI does that sometimes. That's kind of weird. Anyway, let's put these guys into a shield wall formation, as we always like to do, because it does give them a whole host of benefits thanks to our perks. Nice. Take out that horse archer as well. Very good indeed. Let us continue slashing at them with my wonderful polearm. The War Razor is one of my favorites. It really is. I mean, apart from the Bardiche, obviously, the War Razor is definitely a favorite of mine. Obviously, it is to be expected. It is because it's a slashing weapon, and if you have seen my very original Warband series, you'll know that generally I favor slashing weapons much more over thrusting weapons, because I'm just bad with thrusting weapons, to be honest. That's literally the only reason. And it seems like my forces are, or shall we say my allied forces, are actually being quite aggressive, which is really surprising. Usually they are not that aggressive, but they are definitely putting in the work this time around. Very nice indeed to see that. And come on now. Come on now. Can we get a little bit more? Can we get a couple more kills? You know what? I should have probably gotten off my horse here, but I'm just kind of enjoying myself, really. You know, just running around with a massive slashing polearm, it really does give you that sort of satisfying hit sound, and you see the damage that you've done, and you're just thinking to yourself, wow, that's an amazing amount of damage. That's really, really cool. And it's a very satisfying experience to do that. However, the flip side of that, I guess you could say, is the fact that me specifically, with my character at the moment and the way that he's built, he doesn't really have anything else. He's really good at field battles and everything, but whenever he goes into a siege, all bets are off, basically. You know, he can go in there and then he's basically, well, almost useless, to be honest. I mean, I don't even know why that is, really, because as you could no doubt tell from when we took a look at our skills just now, we have 225 in one-handed, you know? We have a pretty good amount of one-handed skill, but for some reason I'm still not very good with it. So I'm gonna actually go into the smithy after this and see if I can maybe I can, you know, maybe I can get a, maybe I can make a one-handed or something like that for myself. That would be pretty fantastic. Also, we got to bear in mind, by the way, that generally I am going to continue along the line of using polearms and things like that for my forces. I don't know why we're getting so many lag spikes right now. That's kind of weird. Haven't had any problems the entire time, basically, in this series, but apparently maybe the reinforcement waves are causing some problems. But anyway, as I said, the theme of this series is to use polearms, and that's exactly what we're doing. And I was basically hoping that we would be able to utilize spear bracing, but as the spear bracing is a little bit weird to implement, it has been more difficult than I anticipated. And of course, we've got to bear in mind that I am fighting currently against the Sturgians, and they don't have a huge amount of cavalry, as you can no doubt tell. Most of them, you know, most of these forces, even this large army, only had about 4 or 5 cavalry, so using spear bracing against that little number of cavalry is basically pointless. But yeah, hopefully you can understand that. Anyway, oh, wait a minute. Oh no, I'm dead. I'm dead. Am I? No, I'm alive. I'm alive. I am alive with about 24 HP. Well, that's not very good. The enemy, hilariously enough, has now basically started spawning in this area. Yeah, I think the game actually begins lagging when reinforcements spawn in, which is actually kind of weird. That hasn't happened for a very long time. It must have been in the last update or something like that that is now being caused, because from my recollection they had fixed that issue, but maybe that that update that was a pretty significant one, one that I think it was like 7 GB or something like that. I think that has done something to the stability of the reinforcement waves. So whenever the reinforcements come in, there seems to be a pretty sizable lag spike in comparison to before. So I'm not entirely sure what's going on with that. But anyway, I'm just going to take a couple of these guys prisoner. I'm going to take all the minor factions prisoner, basically, and anyone else that I see that is not part of a minor faction, I will be letting them go. And there you go. Fantastic. All right, we did a very, very good job right there. I will be taking as many prisoners as I can get my hands on, of course. Unfortunately, oh, what? They're swapping these guys out? Are you serious? Did you see that? Look at that. They are literally swapping out all of the vassals. Why would you swap out all of the vassals, you automatic sorting imbecile? I have no idea why they decided to do that. That is very, very strange. Okay, well, whatever the case, 12,000 experience. I think they've nerfed this particular steward skill, to be honest. I think the amount of experience you get is much less, or it could just be that I was spoiled by my roguery skill, which might very well be the case instead. Anyway, I have over 1 million gold at the moment, so I'm thinking, is the experience worth it? Or is the money worth it? I think the money might be more worth it at this point, because eventually people are going to level up. It is just an inevitability that people are going to gain experience and level up. However, it is not inevitable that we're going to always have cash. So we're just going to do it that way. 22,000 in gold from selling our prisoners. And let's take a look at how much we're going to get from selling our loot. 38,000. Not bad, not bad. And we're now going to go into the smithy and see if I can make a one-handed. Is this a one-handed? No, these are not one-handed. Let me see. Yeah, there we go. Okay, one-handed sword. I really don't have anything good, do I? This is the main problem here. I don't really have anything amazing for me to create. Oh, hello. This might be good. Oh, yeah, yeah. Oh, this might work. This might work. Actually, someone said that maybe I should make an axe. But generally, axes have such low amounts of customization that I kind of... I don't know, it's a little bit... I don't know, I'd like to, but it's just one of those things that basically doesn't give you too many options, unfortunately. I'm going to try for the most swing speed here, by the way, so anything that gives me additional swing speed, I will be attempting to utilize. So, for example, this, and that doesn't really do anything to the swing speed, so I'm just going to leave it at average. And the grip is going to be the main thing here, I think, apart from the blade, of course. So let's have a look. Swing speed 96 seems to be the only... What? Really? That is the... that is the fastest we can get. I refuse to believe it. Really? It is, apparently, the fastest that we can get. That is very strange. I don't know why that would be the case. How's the handling? This one is pretty good handling. Yeah, that basically doesn't... Okay, yeah, this is... Oh, the pommel actually has a massive impact on the swing speed. I am very surprised. I would not have expected that in a million years, but okay. Yeah, okay, we'll use this one. We'll use this one, and changing the size of this doesn't really make any difference, so just going to make it as small as possible for increased handling. And I guess that is it. Let's do it. Okay, let's make it. And oh, we actually gained +1 to swing cutting damage and swing speed as well, thanks to our fine Master Craftsman perk. Very nice indeed. Okay, so what am I going to call this? I mean, the sword doesn't look particularly impressive, so I don't really know. I will probably call it something awful like, void slash ing death murder slice mode. There we go. Perfect. Yes. Just ignore that. Just ignore that. That is not anything to be celebrated. I have no idea. I have no idea what's going on with that. Anyway, let's actually just take a quick look at the other one-handeds. So as you can see, this is the sword that I made. It has better stats than pretty much every sword that I have in my inventory at the moment, which is actually kind of amazing. I would not have expected that, actually. Weird, right? Yeah, that is pretty weird. And I'm going to be taking off the Weeper's Grim Scythe. I'm gonna just take that away because I generally don't tend to use it, and it is just way too heavy and unwieldy for me to take into combat in a suitable fashion for me to be able to catch up to people and run away from people and so on and so forth. So we're just gonna unequip that for the moment. All right, so we've taken Takor Castle. The war exhaustion of the Sturgians is starting to become quite a bit lower, so I'm thinking maybe what we want to do is we want to try for making peace so that we gain a massive tribute, because here's the tribute right now. It's almost 1,700 per day, so I'm actually going to propose that we make peace right away, and there you go. That's what we're going to do. Oh yeah, by the way, someone actually came up with a really good idea on how to reduce relation with Dirthart. I think you said it was something to do with executing people, and that actually makes a very, very large amount of sense. So thank you very much for that. I'm thinking on how I can make that work without making everyone else hate my guts. So I'm not entirely sure how I'm going to do it, because if I could join another faction, then we could secede from here, but you can see here, look, there's actually someone helping us out. Look at that. There's actually someone helping us out right now. They want Dirthart to abdicate. So if we could just get a little bit more support from other factions, from other clans within the Vlandians, we would have a very nice time of things. At least I think we would have a nice time. The Northern Empire is probably going to be our next enemy, by the way. because they have 100% chance of, well, we have 100% chance of declaring war against them, or there's a support of 100% at least. It's not an inevitability just yet, but it is definitely in the wings, so to speak. It's in the thought, thought processes of all of the vassals at the moment, so that might be a bit problematic. But we'll see, because Balgard is looking mighty tempting right now, but you got to bear in mind that the very large army of the Northern Empire is right there. So that is a big worry, because if they decide to declare war right now, Takor Castle is no doubt going to be the first target, because there's literally no people here whatsoever. As you can see, there's literally, 16 people in the garrison, excluding my own army. So that's going to be kind of hilarious. But now that we've entered peacetime, I suppose it's a pretty good idea for me to go back to Vlandian territory, maybe recruit a couple more people, maybe see if I can, basically just recruit some more people, and maybe go and add some gold to the various fiefs I have along the way. Maybe do a little bit of trading as well, because I'm actually thinking that maybe Takor Castle is a bit too out on the fringe, in the middle of nowhere, basically, and I'm not sure whether I want to keep it. However, if you look at the map right now, you can see Kulstad is right here, right next to Firth Castle, Foreign Castle, and Revel, which are, of course, all of my fiefs. And Kulstad is owned by the Northern Empire, so generally they are surrounded on all sides by my fiefs. So if they decide to declare war, this is going to be a very nice fief for me to take, if I can do it. You see, if I can do it. So we'll see what happens in the meantime, and hopefully we're going to see a war declaration at a good interval, and it's not going to be one of those times where I literally think to myself, yes, I'm deep in Vlandian territory. Oh, there's a war declaration. That's what's going to happen, isn't it? Yes, when I'm off screen and doing that. Anyway, that's going to be it for this episode. I thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.